Hey, this is James Price from Nothing But Thieves, and you're watching Drummers Review.
Hey Drummers Review, it's Ollie Winiberg and I am with James Price from Nothing But Thieves. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for coming down. I'm good. Thank you for coming down to sunny Leigh-on-Sea.
Mate, it's where I'm from, so...
It's an old stomping ground for you, right?
It is, yeah, and the rest of the band, funnily enough. We've all sort of had many a night out, especially down here in Old Leigh.
Yes.
Motorbikes, naturally. So yeah, it's good to be here.
Cool. You've done some amazing and incredible things over the years. You've had a #1, you've travelled the world, you've supported Muse, you've done so many wonderful things that a lot of drummers would aspire to do. I suppose that's all right, call it £10. I suppose my first question would be like, what would your advice be to an aspiring drummer that would, love to headline the O2 like you guys have done and climb a career in music?
Honestly, it sounds so typical and the easy answer to give, but it is just practice. Because
Yes.
I wish that I practiced more, because I feel in the past few years, I've been looking at myself being like, man, I wish I practiced more. I'd love to get better.
Yeah.
And I'd say it's always to strive to be that little bit better. I think that helps a lot. But truthfully, a lot of it does come down to a lot of luck as well.
Really?
Yeah, I do think so. It's being in the right place at the right time and hoping that the right people see your band and hear your music, But, it's just keep writing and keep pushing like yourself, and I think that's definitely a key to a lot of people's success, not just ours,
Nothing But Thieves became a household name, I'd say, round
Really?
about. Well, I haven't finished my sentence yet.
Couple of houses.
I think Nothing But Thieves in the world of rock, you guys became a household name, I'd say, round about sort of 2015, 2016 when Itch first came out,
First
and
record, yeah.
that would just absolutely exploded. That was also just before, kind of Instagram really took off and social media was as big as it is now. Do you think the internet has made the music industry a more level playing field, or do you think now for especially aspiring drummers, it's more difficult to get your music out there?
That's a really good question. From my opinion, you can look at it both ways. You can say that it's done great things to give people an outlet to get out there, but it also has, it's sort of almost oversaturated the market. There is so much music and so many artists out there pushing out there, but I do think it's a great thing. I think it's definitely, I'd say it's been a benefit to the music industry, but then again, it's like a double-edged sword, basically.
Yes.
There's a downside to it, like there is with pretty much everything.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
very true. With that in mind, what is it like being in one of the biggest bands in the world? I mean, we were walking down here, and you were jokingly kind of saying, "Oh, we play the O2, but then we don't really feel like we're one of the biggest bands in the world." But the ticket sales, the fan base, what's it like? Is it surreal? Is it like you're living in Spinal Tap?
Sometimes, yeah. I tell you what, it actually is sometimes. We've definitely found ourselves having some Spinal Tap moments, getting lost in venues and things like that.
Have you actually?
I've been lost in many a venue, yeah. It's cool, I don't know, like we were saying on the way down here, you don't really see it when you're in it, unless I'm sure like we were saying, legacy bands, like people like Arctic Monkeys and Muse, those guys probably really feel it because they're really up there. But when we're still we're always pushing ourselves further as well. So it's not like we've peaked and we're up there and we're sitting on top of the castle, hey, this is awesome, we're awesome. It's just, I don't know, we just feel like normal guys, really. None of us are super into the idea of being famous or in this big,
But you are.
Kind of, in a weird way. I hate to say it, but yeah. Yeah, it's cool. It's nice. It's nice to see the world. Let's put it that way.
What lesson do you think you've learnt being a drummer that you have taken into your everyday living situation? Whether you've managed to get over something like a difficult groove on the drums, and you've put that same perseverance into something in your personal life.
Yeah, you could say that. I'd say, what have I learnt from drumming? Really, I don't really know much what I've learnt from drumming, but like you said there, with perseverance is definitely a big one, sort of taking a step back, breaking things down, and being what's good for me, what's not good for me, like what's going to work here and what's not going to work. And yeah, to be fair, it's lately it's taken like a hit on my fitness because we've had such a long time off. I hadn't played drums for like a couple of months.
Really?
I sat down and started playing drums again like a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, wow, I'm out of shape.
You and me both.
I was just like, my heart was going, and I was playing some like fastish tunes, like some punky tunes, and I was just like, wow, like when I was younger, I could nail this, and now I'm like,
You're a huge. You mentioned punk. You're a huge fan
Yeah.
of punk. I know Blink-182 are
Yeah.
sort of a.
growing up, that was like,
They are gods to you.
as a child of like the 90s, early 2000s, that was definitely my jam.
You had the opportunity to meet Travis Barker. You know, hailed by a lot of people as, you know, one of the greatest drummers in the world.
People love him.
What was that like for you when you came kind of face to face with your drumming idol? And is he still your drumming idol?
Yeah, I'd say he'll always be a massive influence. I wouldn't say that I have like a dedicated idol, but I would say from the ages of like, oh Jesus, probably like 8 years old up until I joined the band, really. Like the posters were on the wall and everything,
Right.
you know, like he was the man. But it was amazing. I'll give you the full story. Basically, I was way too nervous to say hello to him, and Phil, our bassist, was in the bathroom with him at the same time.
Right, okay.
They were both
Not both using the toilet. I
no, they weren't using the same urinal, but they were at the urinal.
bet they were.
Yeah, no, well, that's Phil's story.
hope. We don't cover
But
bassists.
yeah, Phil basically had a word with him and was like, look, mate, my drummer is like massive fan, and
Yes.
Phil brought him out and introduced him
That's
to me,
nice.
which was very sweet because I would have definitely not had the bottle to say anything.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was just sort of like sat from afar, just like, why am I here? How did I
Yes.
end up here being with him? But yeah, he was so nice, so humble. Like I haven't got enough nice things to say about him, really.
That's
He was
nice.
brilliant, and Mark as well in that band. Like he was so friendly to us. He came and watched a bit of our set,
Wow.
which was absolutely nerve-wracking. Like
Yeah.
absolutely horrifying, turning to your right and seeing one of your childhood heroes watching
Yes.
you on stage.
I bet.
It was a hot day as well, and it probably wasn't the best we've ever played. So we were just like, oh, why today? But yeah, it was amazing. Amazing.
Obviously, Travis was really nice to you, and one of the things we were talking about on our borderline romantic walk down to Old Leigh,
Seaside walk.
here in Essex. What do you think it is about the drumming community that is so special, and why do you think drummers are so open to collaboration, to, you know, being the party of the band and
Yeah,
being that
totally get you.
that extrovert?
I don't really know. We're just an odd breed of people, I'd say, drummers. You know, I think there's definitely two sides to most drummers. You know, I've met a lot of drummers that are very like introverted as well, that sort of want to keep themselves to themselves. I've been like that for a number of years, but I've sort
Right.
of been coming out of the shell a bit more lately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird breed. I think maybe it's something to do with being the backbone of the band, or something like that, or like the driving force. You know,
Yes.
I think a lot of people, or a lot of other band members, sort of look to the drummer for a lot of things.
Yes.
So I don't know. I wouldn't say we have a lot of weight on our shoulders, but there is definitely like a little bit of weight. You know,
Yeah.
people are looking for something from you. So yeah.
I often find you know, I say this a lot in a lot of interviews, but you see drummers, especially at drum clinics and drum exhibitions, and they're very open to like sharing notes and sharing, oh, did you see what he did there or she did there, you know, whatever. You might not necessarily see that with a lot of other instruments. And I think the drumming community, as you say, you know, they're just such a open and approachable breed of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
For you as a drummer, you've done so much, but is there anything on your kit that you feel like you can't go without? And I don't mean, for example, a snare drum or a kick pedal. I mean, is there anything that you've maybe taken with you, maybe as almost like a sort of totemistic piece, or whether it's like a weird
question.
cymbal stand, or that you just feel like you can't go without?
Not really. I mean, well, I know you said not to name like a specific like part of the kit, but the Zildjian Sweet Ride, man. The Sweet Ride, that thing has been with me. I swapped over to a K Crash ride for a little bit, and
Okay.
that lasted about a week. I was just like, nah.
Really?
Yeah, and I've tried so many other rides and things like that, but the Sweet Ride, man, is just like, it's just so versatile, and it's great for recording as well.
Yes.
I find a lot of a lot of drum stuff, like live sounds amazing, and then you take it into the studio and you're like, that's not the one.
What is your current setup at the moment?
So I'm not really good with the sizes, but I play a Masters and Maple kit, which is a bespoke company based in LA. Very small company. They make drums for, I believe Matt Helders is actually with Masters. I think he's might be the only other British guy on them.
Wow.
But it's I know the guy from Cage the Elephants with them. There's all sorts of people on the roster, but it's a very small based company. Sahir, the owner, is literally like one of the funniest men I've ever met in all my life. He absolutely charmed me, and I was just like, yeah, you're the guys. And when I...
Sorry, David Brent, you've charmed me.
Yeah, it was proper David, you've charmed me. I basically said to him, I want a rock kit. I was just like, make me like a proper like Bonham sounding,
nice,
like tubby, like classic rock kit. And he was just like, is that it? And I was just like, yeah. He was like, I like that you don't know anything about drums. And I was like, really?
Do you really not?
No, honestly, like I don't know anything about the science of drums. I can barely tune a drum kit.
Right.
I'm like so like inept with things like that.
What about sight reading?
No, like none of that.
Yeah.
I when I was doing lessons back in the day, like I could read just about a bit of music, but like it just wasn't for me. And luckily my drum teacher was very into that. He lent into the fact that I just wanted to learn songs.
The reflex.
Yeah, he was just like, you want to do your own thing, like, because he wrote a lot of the grading books, and I was just not into grading and things like that. So basically he was just like, bring me a song you want to learn and we'll teach you it, and he throw in recommendations as well.
Yes.
So it was a really nice way to learn. I feel like a lot of drummers now, it's probably why I'm not so choppy, because I was just like, can I learn this Blink song? Can I learn this Blink song? You know, just bringing in like loads
all right, we get it, James.
Oh no, yeah, it was just like loads of pop punk and punk songs. But yeah, that was basically it really with that. You know.
And your kit, I know you said you got your Zildjian set up.
Zildjian.
And your kit, what have you got? Your
one up, one down. I use...
You double kick, man?
No, not a double kick, man.
Okay.
I've been considering it lately, though.
Okay.
It wouldn't really fit into the Thieves stuff, but I think it's more for
just do thrash. Digga-dagga-digga-dagga.
Yeah, for my own little fun times. But I might do that. I might not. They're definitely. It'll be just nice to challenge myself to something new, you know.
Yes.
But yeah, one up, one down. I'll have 2 crashes on the left.
Okay.
Rides. Another crash, and then I have like a Zildjian effects crash.
Oh yes.
Which is the K Dark custom effects crash, I think it is. It's sort of like it's a really like nice musical symbol. It's better than a China, because a China is just sort of like a bit too intense for our sound.
Yeah.
Where it's sort of like in between a crash and a China. So I really like that symbol.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
What is going to be next for you? You know, we've said at the top of the interview, you know, you've travelled the world, you've supported some of the biggest bands on the planet, you've played some of, you know, the most iconic venues in the world. Have you reached a point where you're kind of thinking, this is absolutely amazing?
What else is there?
But well, yeah, seriously.
No, not really. We all really do want to keep pushing and keep doing like what we do. We love doing what we do, and it's great to just give people like what we do, like, you know, like we get so many like messages, like heartfelt messages about helping people with the music, and that's quite a big motivator in it for me personally anyway. But yeah, like pushing onwards, it's just more touring really, and going to maybe more countries. I know we've pretty much done every continent now.
Be more planets that you'll be touring Mars.
See what we can do.
2027.
But yeah, it's just like getting higher up bills on festivals, playing bigger venues, or doing multiple nights at venues that we've done before, you know. Yeah, it's just tour more. We love touring, and yeah, it's the best part of the gig, so, you know.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, James, congratulations with all your success with Nothing But Thieves. It's so great to be connected with you. I hope that within the drumming community, we perhaps see you maybe under the spotlight on your own a little bit more.
Maybe I'll come out.
Which you should.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming on Drummers Review. It's been lovely to hang with you, and I'm now going to let you buy me a beer.
Lovely. Let's do it.
Thank you so much, dude.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you.